You know, it's interesting. I think the first two Star Trek films are really about getting the Enterprise out into deep space. And every time they try to get out there, something happens which kind of pulls them back and forces them to stay closer to home to deal with whatever that problem was. Because of that, you end up with a little bit of a darker feel to the score, a little bit more of a struggle aspect. Whereas the new film, Star Trek Beyond, to me it feels a little bit more like an old episode of the show. It's a little bit more hopeful. So as you watch it, you get this sense of, oh yeah, this was what it was like watching the old series, which I grew up with and I loved. For me, it's a chance to create a completely different musical landscape for the film, and that's what's nice about each of the films seem to be able to have their own musical identity. And this one, I think, more than any other, will have its own musical identity. Star Trek has such a rich musical legacy, and so it was intimidating. I remember when I first sat down to start working on it, all I kept doing was writing things that felt like it came out of the old motion pictures. And every time JJ and I would sit down and listen to it, or I would play it, we would be just like, I don't know if that's right. It doesn't feel like our story. It doesn't feel like our characters, what we're trying to do. And I was having a really hard time with this, and I remember sitting with Damon Lindelof, and Damon told me, maybe stop thinking about that it takes place in space. Let's forget that we love Star Trek and that it's about exploring the universe and it's about all this. He goes, just think about this as a movie that is about two people who meet and become the best of friends. Let's start there. And I remember that was a key moment for me because I was able to go back and just let go of everything that I had sort of carried with me all my life about Star Trek and just do something that felt like, you know what, this feels like the beginning of a friendship to me. And I remember playing that for JJ for the first time. He said, that's our Star Trek. That's it. That's our guys. That's our theme. It was a very hard thing to get to that point. But once I did, then everything else sort of made sense and it flowed from there. And we were able to then go in our own direction. And I kept talking to JJ about the Alexander Courage theme, and we would try it here and there, and it didn't quite seem right against picture. I said, but what about for the end credits? We could do it. And JJ said, can we just do it as big as possible? Because we're also used to hearing the television version of it, which is wonderful. But he's like, can we do it with choir? Can we do it with a whole orchestra? I was like, yeah, that'd be amazing. So it was fun to do that, and then also weave in elements of the new theme alongside of that. It was just a really rewarding experience to be able to kind of take that stuff out of the past and bring it into the future with what we were doing. And what I love about what we're going to be doing here on the stage at the Bowl with the orchestra, it's not that different from how we recorded it for the original film. You can do it with the recordings that we had in the film, but to have the live player there, for me, is always better. I like having the orchestra in the same room together, because when they play together and they play off each other, somehow the score grows into something else. But you throw them all together, there's an energy that is created that it's unmatched. You can't get it any other way. So for me, the whole orchestra together, what everyone will see here on the stage that night, it's not that far off from how we did it ourselves on the scoring stage for the film.